young luminaries in the field. And we have amidst us one such visionary leader. It is indeed my privilege to introduce you to Ms. Radhika Bharat, founder, the KARM Fellowship for Young Indian Women, and the Joint Vice Chairperson, the Shri Schools. Ms. Radhika leverages her active contribution in the education space by serving as a member of the board of the SRF Foundation. Under the aegis of Shri Educare Limited, an education consultancy company, she has been instrumental in setting up the Shri Ram Millennium Schools in Delhi NCR and the Shri Ram Early Years. Lending her name and voice to pertinent social issues, Ms. Radhika currently serves as the chairperson of the Indian Blind Sports Association and the JPM Senior Secondary School for the Blind. She is also the Joint Secretary of the Blind Relief Association, a non-governmental organization working to empower visually impaired persons by imparting education and skill development training. Ms. Radhika has recently founded her own foundation, the KARM Trust, which will be working on supporting girls and women from less fortunate circumstances in the area of education and health, and creating larger awareness on gender equality. The KARM Fellowship is their first initiative under the foundation. Based on the 4 critical pillars of education, mentorship, life skills, and community service, the KARM Fellowship aims to augment the formal undergraduate college education of young women. Designed to empower these women from less privileged backgrounds, this effort will both facilitate their ability to compete in the real world of work and contribute meaningfully to their communities. A very warm welcome to you, Radhika ma'am. May I now request you to address the gathering.
Thank you so much, Usha ma'am. Good to see you. Good to see you after a very, very long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you and namaste, everyone.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste. I'm delighted to be here today. Really, actually, to tell you the truth, I don't enjoy public speaking that much, but these talks do push me to get out of my comfort zone and think about relevant issues related to our work. And in the end, I'm always happy in that I have had the chance to share my thoughts with all of you. Thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for this invitation, and many, many congratulations on creating a great educational institution. I've been hearing such lovely things about the school. I know the school has a heart and has the right attitude. So many, many congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, as an educator, speaking with other educators is always a learning experience. To know that while the most powerful seek to affect change, we do so every single day. Each conversation that we foster, each question that we answer with utmost care, each concept that we teach, and each story that we tell is change being affected. And for that, we must be so very proud. For the choices we make are the choices that we affect. I view education as an exercise in the enablement of the child, with the child being in the center at all times. Each decision that we take must focus on the well-being of the child. It should be a constant guide, asking a simple question: is this being done because it benefits the child, or is it for the ease of effort? This simple reflection will ensure that we stay on the right path, because that is why we chose this profession. I also see all of us as super educators, catering to different needs of each child and guiding the next gen in finding their why. Because we have tasked ourselves with the rewarding job of shaping and powering destinies. And we can only do that when we pay heed to the differences that each child comes with. Because that is what makes up what the world really needs: differences that are celebrated rather than looked down upon. Which brings me to one of the things that I value the most: diversity and inclusion. Diversity of thought, choice, and preference in every personal and professional field. The dislike we possibly experience And what our children sadly imbibe stems from our intolerance of differences and diversity. Some might say that we humans are hardwired to vary, and we're wary of whatever and whoever is not like us. I will not debate this because this is not the forum to do so. But I would like to let you know that we need to step up and embrace diversity in all its manifestations as educators. While discussing the visible differences, we need to be clear that there is a long way ahead for building an educational infrastructure for the differently abled. Theories of development are part of teacher training courses. However, the why and the how of teaching the differently abled are not just a specialization, it must feature in the course book of every individual aspiring to be an educator. The focus must be on bringing about changes within the classroom processes, teaching methodologies, and an attitudinal and mindset change in teachers. More importantly, school leaders to respond to differentiated needs. On a different note, we have to be open to seeking and accepting feedback as educators because no one knows everything. This is a generation growing up with technology, multiple devices, and content. They have access to more information than us and might sometimes know more than us. They might also know of a better way to do things. Let us not be defensive, but instead learn from them. It will keep us young and relevant for sure. The pandemic has opened up possibilities of human and digital interaction. With all permutations and combination of blended learning, we have to find that unique combination that supports the educational needs of our students. We see that training of teachers in India is not based on imparting skills to children. All of us will agree that, in fact, it limits us on occasions, stopping us from actually igniting thought and then stepping back and experiencing the magic. This means that we are not sure if teachers have the ability to help children develop skills for the future, currently being trained to teach for a world that may not exist. To add insult to injury, training provided are the same for all teachers, forgetting that teaching is subjective and humanistic. Much like our students, we need to invest in teacher training, equipping us in skills that are important to be facilitators to take students on path of independent learning. Teachers need to be as accountable as people in any other profession. For example, doctors and lawyers have to keep upgrading their knowledge and skill sets beyond what they learned in their formal education. Teachers too need to work on self development to learn new techniques of delivering content to children, as well as keep themselves updated with new methods of teaching based on research, etc. I see the teacher's role as one of equipping children with these skills of creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration, with emphasis on emotional intelligence. The teachers of future need to be avatars in form of guides and mentors for their students, not all-knowing gurus providing them with information that themselves can click. We need to question ourselves. What are my students likely to need 20 or 50 years from now? How can I equip them with those skills? This line of thought can change the way we think in our classrooms, schools, and communities. To do so, I would really suggest to invite students to be part of decisions that are affecting the functioning of our schools. Discuss opportunities of internships, community service programs, exchange programs, and connect with peers globally. All this while building collaboration. It is imperative that we create a learning environment in school where students can decide what to do with their time and learn based on needs rather than through just classes or a standard curriculum. We need to equip them with relevant tools that will help them leverage their inborn skills and practice those skills in a natural way, hence allowing them to become thinkers and problem solvers. Let us also focus on softer skills that would help us not to compete, but also to collaborate and complete each other. give greater attention to happiness of our children. Our youth needs to feel empowered from within. I think along with happiness, the values that we reinforce in our children will go a long way in deciding how they turn out in the future. While parents have the key responsibility of inculcating values in our children, we as educators need to reinforce these values through the various lessons that we teach them. One last thought is related to the skill of storytelling, which I love. Let us be proud of our own stories and help our students write their own unique story. Storytelling is considered one of the most powerful ways of teaching and engaging with people. This is a skill that we must all develop in order to be effective educators. A statement that I read somewhere, and it strongly resonates with me, is that only an education which transforms can be called education. Education for us cannot be a job that we do for X hours a day. It has to be driven by a larger purpose of transforming the children that we teach. The key message that I want to leave you with are through appreciating differences, upskilling ourselves, having conversation with our children to make them thinkers rather than memorizers, reinforcing values and storytelling. Let us become the real change agents of the future. Thank you once again for inviting me, and I wish you all the very best in your journey as educators. Namaste and thank you.
Thank you, Radhika ma'am. You spoke really inspirational words. There were so many takeaways, so many things that I have jotted down, and it was wonderful to hear you once again. Your work in the field of education and the way you take up social causes and lead change is inspiring. Thank you for sharing such profound thoughts that compel one to take action. Really appreciate and value your presence here today, ma'am.
Not at all. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.